And welcome in to a Friday edition of the CHGO Bears Podcast. We're dreaming it big on this Friday as Tom Brady, the GOAT, is talking about Caleb Williams when he was asked about a question that Caleb's got 8 Super Bowl championships on his phone. And there's a ton of NFL news too, quarterback news. By the time Caleb Williams becomes a free agent, if he's anything, I think he's going to get paid $100 million a year. Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, 5-year extension, $275. That's $55 a year. Same number that Adam Hogue makes. Hope he's having a good time. Rumor has it he's at Midtown right now with his family. And $200 million of that guaranteed, $142 million fully. That's a good number right there, Nicholas Moreano, for a guy that has the potential and has done some good things, but hasn't completely dominated. It's set your goals high in life. That is my Friday goal, my Friday motto, my Friday mantra. Thank you very much. Congratulations to Trevor Lawrence. Congratulations to Caleb for the GOAT talking about him. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mark. I'm not going to lie. I just logged off for about the last 10 seconds, but hearing I feel like this whole entire Friday is about high goals, high aspirations, reaching your max potential. I love it. That's how we got to end the week off on, it's been a really good week for the CHGO Bears podcast.
Well, there you go. And so they asked Brady about Caleb and the 8 championships on his phone. And he says, quote, "Everyone's going to find different ways for motivation. And that is certainly a way that Caleb can find it. A lot of people are going to find different motivations. I found them with the way that I did what were useful to me. I think that there's a lot that goes into winning one, and you got to set your goals high. I would never tell anyone they can't achieve anything, because if you would have told me I couldn't achieve anything, that would have been discouraging. And I don't want people to discourage young athletes one bit." And he finishes it up. "So I think people should always reach for the stars, certainly young quarterbacks in the league." So it's a classy comment by the GOAT. You know what I would have said if I were the GOAT?
What would you have said, Mark?
I'd say, "Hey, buddy, I appreciate it, but, I don't know. Win a game first. Maybe make the playoffs first. Winning one," or if I was being even classier or classy at all, I'd say, winning one Super Bowl is really, really hard. Really hard. So, when he gets there, then let me know, and we could see if he's actually going to chase after my 7. Good luck with that, buddy, as Mubs would say.
Yeah, and I think for Tom Brady, Mark, I think that's the right thing to say publicly, right? When you're being asked about it on a podcast where there's a platform, like that's the right way. You don't want to discourage the young athletes, but if I'm Tom Brady, as soon as that call ends, I'm like, that dude ain't gonna try to get, my 7 or 8. Like, it's gonna be tough for him to get that. Like, you keep that internally to yourself, because he knows how tough it truly is to win one, let alone multiple Super Bowls. But I think what he said publicly is the right thing.
Yeah, and for the record, I love that Caleb's got high goals. I wish when I was Caleb's age, I would have had higher goals. I mean, my goal at that time was like, how do I get into the locker room so I can see and ask Michael Jordan a question? That was, in essence, my goal. It wasn't to be the greatest radio host in the history of the world. It wasn't to be the best podcaster ever. It wasn't to play in the NBA. I literally I had what I would call mascot goals. Like, I just want to get in the room. And then you manifest that. That's what I did for a long time. I was sort of a mascot. And then, as I got older, I'm like, well, I'd rather be the dude talking than not the guy talking. So let's figure out how to be competitive and what that would look like. How would I go about doing that? But I did it late. And, there's huge cost to that. He's out here at 11 doing the Breakfast Club, in high school having his own apartment, in college chasing where can I get the best, the fastest. Let me go to Oklahoma and Lincoln Riley. Let me follow him to USC. Let me learn every last lesson I could possibly learn, and let me not shy away from going to Chicago, when perhaps there was a couple people who thought that this wasn't a great place for him because the Bears aren't exactly legendary in developing quarterbacks. Like and let me put 8 on my phone as setting goals. Like, this is a very highly advanced thinker and competitor on both sides, which is I think probably the thing that excites me most about Caleb.
Yeah, and I'm sure too, Mark, like obviously he had these high goals at an early age, but don't you think even for Caleb, it was like, here's one of my goals: get up every day at the same time so I can make it to these practices. Like, it starts, I would think, small, and then you gradually build up the consistency, and then you obviously set those high goals. I'm sure when you were saying, like, hey, how do I get into the locker room? How do I ask Jordan a question? It's like, how do I consistently do that? Like, for yourself, Mark. So I think that's almost natural for a lot of people. But for Caleb, like, he's known what he's wanted to be for a very long time. And that's, something that not a lot of people, I think, get to experience really early on. But that's why Caleb is in the position that he's in right now. And also, too, Mark, his rookie teammate, top 10 pick teammate, Roman Dunze, also has some pretty high goals too when we're talking about reaching certain goals. Like, in the last press conference we were all at, he's like, I went to school with Puka Nacua. I'm absolutely chasing that rookie record. Like, and again, he's a number 3 receiver that has 2 guys that are clearly ahead of him. So I do like that these young guys are putting those high aspirations for themselves.
Yeah, Adrian Mask with I'd call this a great Carman comment. It might also be because Brady did a similar thing when he was in his rookie season in New England, and someone asked him, "You going for Montana?" He said, "No, I'm going for Jordan." Bold as hell, Adrian. Bold as hell, and I do vaguely remember that now that you bring it up. And then Brandon Jenish. And that's why Caleb is an elite talent with extreme potential and Carm coaches slow pitch softball. That's rude.
Wow.
We are undefeated, and I'm doing a great job. Phenomenal job getting Nicholas
Even
Moreano.
when I'm trying to sabotage the team, you're still finding ways for us to win. So
it's true.
You
tried to kill me. You nearly made us undefeated, or made us defeated, and it didn't happen. So, I pulled 2 comments from Caleb early in the week to sort of underline how he is pathing his way to greatness. And so the first one, Steven, if we can hit it, Caleb talks about, the off-season plans, so everybody can take a break right now. You can take a deep breath. And for Caleb, number 1 overall pick, been in the spotlight for a long time here, mini camp, perhaps a little worn out, but of course, he's going to be working out during this time. He's been planning it for a while.
When I first got drafted, Keenan and I were thinking of doing something obviously around this time. So yeah, we'll be all of us getting together. We actually were all texting last night in the group chat trying to figure out, where exactly we want to be and in the world and things like that, where we're going to be throwing and working out and bonding and things like that. And it's not, the plan is to not also just be, the offensive guys, but also have, the defensive guys out there, us working on techniques and things like that together, bonding, enjoying each other, and going from there.
Bonding and coming together and going from there. Talked with Rome very early in the process. Rome, of course, coming to his pro day. Talked with Keenan early in the process. Keenan coming to his pro day. I mean, who knows? Maybe they talked as early as that about let's throw extra in between the mini camp and training camp so we can get on the same page, because I know that you're into a contract year and I know that I'm a rookie quarterback. Both of us have a lot at stake here. But I think it's interesting just getting into his mind where he, why is it important that you're spending this time together throwing on June the 14th till July the 20th, 19th when they report? And I love his answer here.
Yeah, Mark, and it's not even just the throwing though, right? Like, it's also the fact that they just want to bond. Like, it's all the other things too that what it takes to be a really good teammate and to build that chemistry. So that's another level of what Caleb Williams already understands at 21, 22 years old, that it takes more than just the physical things to be, a really good teammate, a really good player in this league.
Exactly. And he underlines it here in the second cut. And I think just sit back and listen to guy that is, going to be your leader of the Bears for hopefully a long time?
Changed the world because I've been in situations where we go 7-5, whether it's college. I've been in situations where we go to championship, lose. I've been in situations where I won a championship. I've been in situations where we go to championship and lose. And, the biggest thing every time you hear and listen, I was just watching Matthew Stafford's Super Bowl, and, the sound pieces from that is, they go around and they all say, "I love you, brother. I love you, this and that." Everything's about the bond and trust that you build between each other, because then you go out there and you play with a different level of, kind of your mentality is different. Everything's different when you're out there playing for each other and, not out there playing for yourself. So the connection to be able to build a bond between not just 11 on the field, but the next 11 that comes on the field, which is the defense, and the next 11, and then all the other guys at 53. And everybody's treated with respect and love and care, but also, pushing each other to be at our best. So, that's where the connection comes from, because you can't build something, pretty special at the end of the year without that bond, love, and trust for, your brothers.
So he's got end of the year goals. This is why we're doing this, because at the end of the year, hopefully it'll pay off. And then that comment, about, he's experienced all this, and then somewhere in the middle there, he said something along the lines of, look, it's not about playing for yourself. It's about playing for everybody. And when you're doing that, then you've got something special going on, and the sum of the parts, add them all together, is going to be a lot greater, right? Whatever that thing, fantastic saying is. His mind's in the right spot here, right? There's nothing not to like about what's coming out of the mouth of Caleb Williams.
Yeah, Mark, and it reminds me a lot of what the CHGO Sports softball team year one kind of did. We were just kind of a bunch of guys coming together, right? And we were individuals. And, that season was a grind, and you get bounced early on in the playoffs. But then the second season, we have more camaraderie. We have more people not just being there for the game, but kind of hanging out and building those connections. And what ends up happening? Championship at the end. Super Bowl for Caleb Williams and the Bears. But it does take those kind of things. I do truly believe that when Caleb's talking about those things, he's coming from some type of experience. Like you do need more than just the physical, on-field connections to really get somewhere. As Tom Brady will say the exact same thing. Like it does take some brotherhood connections to actually get to where you want to be.
Yeah. And Brady would know. And Caleb apparently knows, because he's been doing this for a minute. And who also knows, for the record? His name's Tyson Bagent. And I don't know. Okay, I'm probably getting a little bit out over my skis here. But before we wrap up this QB conversation and get into some O-line talk, which I talked with Chris Morgan, the Bears offensive line coach, the other day when they were breaking up the assistants. So you're going to hear some of his comments, which interesting stuff about the center. Stick around. But Tyson Bagent, where was he ranked, Nick, in backup quarterbacks in the NFL right now?
It's not very good there, Mark. But if you're looking at the backup quarterbacks, number 25, come on now. Mitchell Trubisky is just one ahead of him. Justin Fields, number 1. What's going on here, Mark?
Well, and I'll say this. There's a lot of good names on the list. Fields is 1. Yeah. Jake Browning, 2, is aggressive. But, Jacoby Brissett's been a starter. Jimmy Garoppolo's been a starter. Flacco obviously has been a starter. Michael Penix is the number 8 overall draft pick. Jameis Winston had himself a pretty damn good career. J.J. McCarthy is listed as 8th. I get all that. Sam Howell is thrown for 4,000 yards. Tyrod Taylor's been solid. Andy Dalton, how many seasons has he thrown for over 4,000? Mac Jones.
True.
Was a starter. Cooper Rush had his moment in the sun that I went a little bit nuts on. Now, here's where I would start to quibble. Josh Dobbs, Drew Lock. Okay, I'll take Bagent over both of them. Mason Rudolph. People go at Mason Rudolph, but he's also had some decent seasons. Marcus Mariota's been a starter too. Zach Wilson. I'm reading everything for those in the audio world here. Then Desmond Ridder. I'll quibble with that. Carson Wentz. I'll quibble with that, but he has had it. Frick, the guy was part of a Super Bowl team. Mm-hmm. Aiden O'Connell also started a bunch of games. Davis Mills, Kenny Pickett, then Mitch, and then Tyson's in front of Josh Johnson, Hendon Hooker, Mike White, Easton Stick, Kyle Trask, Sean Clifford, Jake Hayner. I actually, I don't. I only move him up about 5 slots.
Yeah, there's actually some decent names on that list.
Yes. Now and I'm not saying that he won't pass them. I think he will. If at some point we'll get an opportunity. But it is kind of, hey man, it's hard to find a quarterback, but it ain't that hard to find a halfway decent backup who's had some level of success in the NFL.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. But maybe, if Tyson gets some opportunities this season, if something happens to Caleb Williams, I'm sure his rankings will go higher, but I don't know if Bears fans really want to see that. Really quickly, Mark, I want to address this one question I'm seeing in the chat before we kind of move on with the show here. It's from Adrian Mask, slightly off topic, but I've seen some tweets with some accounts highlighting Williams' lack of deep ball accuracy. Has that been a concern at training camp or something you guys have seen? Not necessarily. I think people are taking the clip of Keenan Allen saying "hell no" when he catches this slightly underthrown ball from Caleb Williams. I wouldn't say there are concerns about his deep ball. I think that's just being a little overplayed on the internet, and it's still so early. So I wouldn't make anything of that, Adrian, but just wanted to address your comment here.
He threw a 75-yard bomb at USC Pro Day. I forget who he hit in stride.
Brendan Rice.
It was Brendan Rice. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking, was it John Jackson? It obviously wasn't because John Jackson left USC, but it was Brendan Rice on the money. He found Valus on a 60-yard bomb right on the money. Now, that was against the Bears' second-team defense, but still the ball was beautiful. I would not – things to worry about in life, Caleb, deep ball, I would not put that anywhere close to a problem or something that is going to be an issue for him going forward. Also not an issue, our friends at Mint Mobile, Nick. After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by overpriced wireless providers, you're sick of it. If we've learned anything, is that there's always a catch. So when I heard that for a limited time, all Mint Mobile wireless plans are $15 a month. $15 a month. When you purchase a 3-month plan, I'm thinking to myself, there's got to be a catch here. But when you talk to them, it makes the sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile, it's the secret sauce. It's that they sell the wireless service online. They don't have retail stores. They don't have salespeople. None of that. So they can give you they can deliver the premium phone plans directly to you, which is amazing. So listen, say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans and those just nauseating monthly bills and unexpected overages and everything else that goes on out there. Mint Mobile is here to rescue with a premium wireless plan starting at $15 a month. All plans, you're worried about high speed? No, they got it. All plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk, and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. How sweet is that? To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/CHGO. That's mintmobile.com/CHGO. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/CHGO. $45 upfront payment is required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on the first 3-month plan only. Speeds slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
Check out Mint Mobile. Then you got to check out Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensaries, your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer. It's a one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs, no matter where you are on your cannabis journey. Easy online ordering and in-store pickup, great transparent loyalty programs, Sunnyside Rewards. And let me just highlight a couple of Sunnyside's house of brands here. You got High Supply, and High Supply offers quality weed that's always available. Buds are expertly grown, lab tested, and available in vape carts, vape pens, flower, popcorn, shake, pre-rolls, shorties, and concentrates. A lot of options there with High Supply. Then you also have good news. It's the gummies, a rechargeable vape pen, and cart, perfect for great moments with the crew. Now, first, you have to head to sunnyside.shop and use the code HICHGO at checkout for 35% off favorite brands like Cresco, Good News, and more to elevate your first purchase. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
All right. Let us talk about our favorite ex-Bear quarterback.
Number one on that list.
I mean, he hasn't been gone too long now. But Justin Fields is straight falling in love with his new home, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He is.
Nick, the
How do you feel
culture,
about that, Mark?
the Mike
Yeah.
Tomlin, the yellow and black, the history. I mean, Tomlin just got a 3-year extension. Justin is finally learning what it's like to be with a good organization. So, do we have this audio clip from the Insiders podcast, Steven? Or am I reading this? I forget.
You're reading it.
I am reading it. Okay, thank you. Let me read it in my Justin Fields voice.
What is it, Justin Fields' voice?
I don't really have one.
New. Oh, okay.
But this is what he said on the Insiders podcast. I think so. Just being around a new team, an organization that's just with this culture. Me being in 2 different places now, I realize you don't get this culture everywhere. I think Chicago, they're kind of changing the narrative now, but this is just the culture here for so many years. You can see it. It's just the way that we attack each and every day. Now, I mean, I don't know how many times we've heard Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles and literally everybody around the Bears talk about how great the Bears culture is. So what's your read on this, Nick? Are they lying? Are they confused that the Bears have a great culture, or is Fields just slightly bitter here and off?
So it kind of sounded like when you're listening to the audio of him answer this question, the question was, is there a new energy around being a different organization? So that's the question that Justin was asking, or Justin was being asked. And he said, I think Chicago, they are kind of changing the narrative now. And I feel like last year, the culture was in a good spot. Like, I mean, everyone was talking about it, but I don't know his rookie season, how that was. And we've now heard the disagreements between Fields and Dalton and Foles and like how that all played out. So I'm sure that is probably maybe what he's referencing, because even when Eberflus got here, that was a big part of it. When he talked to basically anybody in this locker room, they rave about what the standard, the culture has been set here. Like, it's a family kind of atmosphere. So I think that, of course, whenever you're being shipped off and there's a new guy coming in, are you going to maybe throw some shade towards that previous place? Of course you are. But Justin was pretty, I think, respectful about kind of doing that. I'm sure if there was, this was a off the record conversation, there would be other things being said, but I think there's a little bit of jealousy. And also, hey, the Steelers have had a pretty good organization for a long time. Let's be completely honest. So I think that's where he's kind of coming from when he says, or when we just read this quote.
Yeah, I would love an off the record. Tell me everything you can tell me about Nick Foles and Andy Dalton and Matt Nagy. And let's go down the list, and Chase Claypool, and we can keep going. I pulled one video where he's talking about his new quarterbacks coach with the Steelers, and his name is Tom Arth. 43-year-old Tom Arth, born May 11th, 1981. Arth. He played for the Indianapolis Colts for a couple of years, and then he made his way to the Scottish Claymores and the Hamburg Sea Devils. He was an Argonaut. He was a Rampage. He was a force. Now, he's also been with Chattanooga and Akron and the Chargers as a pass game specialist, and now the Steelers quarterbacks coach. All right. My point here is that he's not exactly a household name. He was a head coach at John Carroll University from 2013 to 16. He's the head coach at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and the University of Akron. He was a Zip.
Ooh.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Former home of Matt Eberflus, correct? That was the Flus played for Akron when he was a linebacker. Am I right about that? I'm 99.9% certain I am. Yep. He was. All right. So let's hear what Justin Fields had to say about Tom Arth.
Tom's been great. Just his attention to detail, the way he comes in each and every day. He comes in as the same guy every day, and to be honest, I don't think I've had a coach that detailed as Tom. He's very detailed in terms of practice reviews, sending us the info, breaking down each and every play, and really just focus on the details. To be honest with you, I think that's the thing that sets him apart. And he pushed us to be hard. I mean, our indie periods are conditioning, so of course that's good for us. But I mean, he's been great so far. So excited to allow our relationship to grow, and excited to work with him in the future.
So, I mean, Andrew Janocko, John DiFilippo, none of these guys were able to do what Arth is able to do. Arth's attention to detail, dog, is delightful.
Something else. It's new. I promise you, Mark, we could go back through the archives and find that almost exact same quote about Justin Fields, maybe talking about Luke Getsy and even Janocko. I promise you that. But again, he's in a new spot. You need to pump these guys up, and while also kind of throwing some shade at the previous organization. I get it, but I swear to God, I've heard that quote before from Justin Fields.
No, you know what? He may have said that before, but I'm fully buying it. Tom Arth, the way he's going over each and every rep that's happening at Steelers minicamp. I don't know if it's ever been done before. I don't know if it's ever been done before in NFL history, Nick. Arth.
Reinventing the wheel. Yep. I will say this, Mark.
Go ahead.
Okay. This has nothing to do with the quarterback talk or really. The Steelers uniforms, like,
yeah.
I mean, like I have my George Kittle, Iowa. Like it's just I love the Bears uniforms, but when I see these colors, though, it just does something to me, Carman. It really does.
I get it as an Iowa Hawk. I get it, Nick. Can I get the George Pickens comment? Which, by the way, if memory serves, the Bears could have had George Pickens, but they drafted Jaquan Brisker. Justin loves himself some George Pickens.
With George, he has a reputation for the guy kind of catching no matter where you put it. What's been sort of eye-opening about working with him so far?
Yeah, I knew George before y'all knew George, so I've known George since high school, and he's always been the same. Big athlete, crazy receiver, he can throw it up there when nobody's open. Most likely that comes down with, but he's the same player that I've known since playing ball.
Known him since high school. He just plays ball. You can throw it up wherever it is. Pickens going to make a play.
I mean, he's not wrong. George Pickens is nice.
What do you think he thinks about the Poles' decision to not draft George Pickens when they desperately needed receiver help? You think he felt good about that one?
I'm sure he would have loved to, reunite, but that would have been probably Kyler Gordon, right? When going back, like it's either, I think that's where second round, if I'm not mistaken, George Pickens. So
yes, he was picked 48th overall. Hold on a second. I should have looked this one up.
We'll find the exact, but yeah, I mean, that was the thing. His first season with Eberflus coming in, there weren't guys to throw to. Right? Like, so having a guy like George Pickens, would that have been beneficial? Someone that you already know. Like, it's something that I know when Bears fans saw George Pickens get drafted, they were asking those same questions.
Yeah, I confused. The Bears had the 48th pick. They used it to take Jaquan Brisker. He went 52nd to the Steelers. So they picked both Kyler Gordon at 39 and at 48 Brisker over Pickens when they desperately needed wide receivers. And obviously Gordon's a good player, getting better. And same thing with Brisker. Hopefully Jaquan, we've talked about that a lot as far as him staying healthy. But it's just interesting to think about. Like you were not, and we're moving forward. The Bears have Caleb Williams. They've got Rome Odunze. They've got Keenan Allen. They've got DJ Moore. Everything looks so rosy and so bright. But if we do go back in time, trying to get Justin off the ground, and you had the opportunity to draft a guy like that, who it's just interesting that Fields was super familiar with. And now he's sitting there like, I know George before you knew George, and you just throw the ball up to George, and George just catches it. It had me thinking today, like, man, that would have been a nice piece to see if they could have developed Justin a little bit further.
Yeah, and hopefully we see Fields and Pickens do their thing this season, because again, Bears fans, I think you want to root for Justin Fields this season to get on the field, so then that 6th round pick becomes a 4th round pick in 2025, right? Like, so there's still a lot of reasons. I know a lot of Bears fans have moved on, and as they should, to Caleb Williams, but you do want to see Justin Fields get on the field, take over at some point for Russell Wilson, play 51% of the snaps, and then that pick becomes a little bit higher for Ryan Poles in 2025. So wishing nothing but the best for Justin Fields. Still a really great guy, and hopefully he does get his opportunity.
So if he was going to grade the Bears culture 1 to 10, you're Justin Fields. Justin, give me your grade 1 to 10, and we can even take out the Mad Nagy era. Just give me Flus's 2 years in your experience. What number out of 10 would you give it?
See, I wonder if Justin would also factor in how much he didn't win here. Like, even though it's nothing about the culture, he would rate it, Mark, a very solid 6. He loves the number 6 for some reason. I don't think he's going again, off the record, he's going a 6.
Okay.
Where do you think he's at?
I accept a 6.
You accept a 6? I want to hear your answer. I don't want you to not answer the question like you did on the other podcast. Like, oh, here's a question and not answer it. So what's his?
I would have said 5, middle of the road. Had some good days, had some bad days. I give it a 5. That would be my guess. But regardless, we are. No one who has left the Bears in the last couple of years speaks very well of the Bears. I haven't. You can't. And maybe people are just bitter. Maybe they just want to stay in Chicago forever. Maybe they loved it so much. Maybe all the things. Everything about this city. The lakefront. The CHGO Bears podcast. The pizza. The hot dogs. The men. The women. The riverboat cruises. They just don't want to leave. I get it. But I also do, I do think that I think it is a fair assessment that the Bears are still building the culture that they really, really want, and turning it around back to the front of this conversation. Caleb doing this, love it. I think that's an asset they have not had before. An asset that we have for you is True Fan Travel. We are going to London. We need you to come with us. We want you to come with us. I'm begging you to come with us. We are, with True Fan Travel, your passport to the world of sports. These guys are the expert. 8,000 plus fans going over 145 plus trips. Hassle-free travel planning by travel experts who make sure every detail is covered. Game day to excursions, everything along the way. We're giving you a flight to London. We're giving you 4 to 5 star hotel accommodations. We're giving you a welcome event. We're having a private boat cruise. We're having an all-inclusive tailgate. We're giving you an upper-level ticket to the game, which for football, up top, beautiful. We're giving you transportation. We got the airport transfers. We got the on-site trip coordinators. We got breakfast at the hotel. We got a meet and greet. That's what you want to do. You want to go to truefantravel.com, make your deposit, secure your spot, come to London with us. Once in a lifetime situation here. Bears, Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence getting paid $55 million. Those are the dates, October 9th to the 15th. London. I'm going to be on my A game at least half of the time. Okay. Single minute I'm there, I'm going to be the most together, affable, calm that I can possibly be.
I'm really looking forward to that, Mark. I'm looking forward to True Fan Travel hooking everybody up. But I'm also looking forward to telling you about Ray CDJR. When it comes to finding your next vehicle, make Ray CDJR your number 1 draft pick this June. Shop Chrysler, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams at Ray CDJR in Fox Lake. And during the Make This Summer event, find the perfect vehicle and score huge savings too for a limited time. Lease a new 2024 Jeep Wrangler Willys 4xe for only $419 a month, or shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. And let the amazing team at Ray's CDJR help you land the perfect vehicle at the perfect price, because with Ray's price promise, the numbers you're hearing now, they're going to be the same prices you can expect to shop in store and online. That's because Ray's price promise means no price changing, no add-ons, and no hidden fees. Since they prioritize affordability for their customers, hurry into Ray's CDJR today and shop one of the Chicago's area's largest inventories, then drive home with more money in your pocket than you'd expect. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, then you have to check out the team at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, because they're the only team we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com, serving the community since 1963.
NFL news for you. I love our friends at Ray CDJR, and I love my Chevy tracks. All right, he's going to be 38 years old. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler. The Bears need somebody who can get to the quarterback. It will not be this guy. 105.5 sacks in his career, 6.5 last year for Atlanta. Long time with Arizona, and then Jacksonville, and then a cup of coffee with Baltimore, and then a half a cup of coffee with Atlanta. Calais Campbell, 38 years old, signing with the Dolphins, Nick, on a 1-year deal. Your thoughts?
Calais Campbell, I think, is obviously a guy on the back end of his career, but I think in whatever role that the Dolphins are seeing for Campbell, he's going to be someone that you can rely on. And if the Bears would have made that move for their D-line, I wouldn't have hated it. Again, I think that this defensive line could use more depth, but still waiting on a certain Yannick Ngakoue at some point, Mark. But it does make sense for the Bears to look at some type of veteran to just be another addition to this Bears defensive line.
So maybe it's 6 and one, half dozen the other. But if you could have had Campbell or Ngakoue, who would you have taken? If those were if same money.
How much was Campbell again? It was.
I haven't seen the actual number on it, so
okay.
let's just say it's $5 million, whatever.
I think Yannick has a little bit more left in his tank, to be completely honest, there, Mark. And it would have been nice to see. Again, even if it happens in the next, 2 weeks, a month or whatever, Yannick and Sweat go through training camp and kind of get that chemistry going. And then you got to factor in DeMarcus Walker is also going to be in this mix as well. Like, what does that look like from the beginning of the season, as opposed to Sweat kind of being plugged in, not halfway, but a little less than halfway. So I would go with Yannick Ngakoue. I see Gary's talking about Carl Lawson as well. Like that's another option too. But if it's Campbell or Ngakoue, I'd go Ngakoue.
So the Ngakoue thing, I mean, I'm fine if it goes that way, but Yannick did nothing before Montez got here. Now we have Montez, so he can continue to pick up the scraps that Sweat leaves out there and be some level of effective. But I ain't going to be super excited if like we get announced that they're bringing Yannick Ngakoue back. Last year when they signed him, there was a lot of excitement. I'll be kind of like, okay, vet piece, he'll help. He ain't going to, I would be more interested along the lines. Carl Lawson would be I whether it would play out that way or not, who the hell knows? But I'd be more interested in a 28-year-old guy who yes has had a couple of stops there, Cincinnati and the Jets, but perhaps the upside could be a little bit greater there. Hopefully, I would think, but it does feel like at some point they're going to add someone.
Yeah, and just kind of, with Carl Lawson, this is a guy that I'm trying to say, he tore his Achilles, and that's why kind of they're in the situation that they're in with him right now. But at some point you do expect, because I right now, obviously you have Sweat. We just had Austin Booker on the show yesterday, who will be in that mix at the defensive end rotation, DeMarcus Walker. So I feel like you could just add another body to that group, right? So if once you do that, I feel that the Bears are just going to have enough people at that position to kind of get the rotation that they like to have there.
Yeah. And look, Lawson also, it's not just the Achilles. I mean, he's had back issues. He's just had a hard time staying on the field. But if you're trying to hit higher up, look, I mean, I'm not, no chips off the table on what the Bears can do this year. Let's go big. But I also am interested in, let's find a diamond in the rough that could possibly be here as a piece more than 1 year. This is, it would make sense to me to go that way. Speaking of diamonds in the rough, let's segue over to the offensive line, because I don't know exactly what the Bears have here up front, is in the interior. But so Chris Morgan, SEMO was talking earlier this week when they made the coaches available, and myself and a handful of other reporters were in there, and he had, when it came to the center position, it was, SEMO is a very positive guy. He's not going to say anything negative on anyone. But so I asked him, first off, what does he like with what he's seeing with Ryan Bates? Give me some specifics here. What have you liked about Bates so far?
He's pro, man, and he's athletic. He's smart. He's tough. He's versatile, and he's played a lot of football. So we're excited to have him. Really gelling quick with the guys, and glad to have him.
Does center feel like his best spot?
A guy like him can play in a lot of spots, and and we're excited to have him. But yeah, if he's called upon to play center, he'll be a heck of a center.
So there we go, heck of a center, and I start pushing him down the road, and but now I was not trying to be, I don't know, too confrontational, but here comes Mark Potash, Nick, from his Sun Times, my guy, our guy, the best. And he really wanted to boil down the Bears center position and the question marks in his mind of who they have there. So here was Potash trying to bite a little harder.
What is your analysis of where you are at center? Because on paper, you have one guy with 4 starts and another guy who, frankly, wasn't one of the top-rated guys in the league as a starter last year. So what's your confidence level? Where do you stand as far as having a really good frontline center on this line?
We feel really good about where we're at right now. We think we got 2 guys that are really good football players, really good teammates, really good leaders, and we're excited about having both of them here. So,
are they both? Are they competing, or when you start on day one, will that be a true competition, or will Bates be one and what?
No, we're competing. Yeah, and those guys are doing an excellent job of making each other better and everybody around them while they're doing it.
So here comes Coleman Shelton, 73 career games, 32 starts. He has been in the playoffs and made a playoff start. Last year, was in all 17. The Rams offensive line gave up the 6th fewest sacks in the NFL, for whatever that's worth. Where are you at here, Nick, with what he's saying? Do you buy him that it's competition?
I do buy the competition. And let me ask you again, Mark, you asked about who again?
I asked about Bates. I'm like, where are you at on Bates? And he's like, Bates is great. I love Bates. Bates is where Bates can play all over the place. I tried to pin him down on whether he's going to be the center, and he was like, he'll be good wherever he's at. Now he's got 4 starts at center in his career. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was very non-committal though. Like he said, he could play anywhere, and it's like if we decide to go with him at center. So, I mean, from what we've seen at practice, Mark, it's Bates might get one day. Coleman Shelton might get another day with the 1. So I think they truly are trying to find who that center is. So to your question, is it a competition? I do think it is a competition at this point. Yes, one guy has more reps than the other as of late, but they need to truly find who's going to be the best guy for Caleb Williams and just helping out this rookie quarterback navigate this new offense and things like that. So I know Chris Morgan saying they feel good about it, but I don't know. We've seen it with the center position be a weakness for Bears offenses. it's almost, I'm not going to say it's at that point right now, but I would rather have it where, yes, Coleman Shelton, he's your starting center. Ryan Bates, he's our starting center, but the Bears are clearly not at that point yet. It's probably going to take training camp and maybe even the preseason to figure out who they truly like there.
So here's what I'm hearing. He's saying there's a competition in my mind because he knows that right guard is a potential problem. And I think he thinks that both these dudes are going to have to play because Nate Davis, although Morgan did say he's doing a great job in the classroom, keeping himself up to speed. But the fact of the matter is the guy has not been able to stay on the field. So he's got a vet who's played all over the place, and he's got another vet who can play the position. Crystal is an interesting point here. Our legend, our hero. I think it's going to have to be who Caleb wants. That, I don't know if it quite would go down like that, Crystal, but I do think, like, who the Bears see that he has chemistry with. In essence, basically saying it's like I don't think it's going to be like, so Caleb, who do you want to be your center? But I think they will be paying attention to like how do these, what's the bonding going on like that? I mean, I think that's pretty logical. And then I think the other guy might very well end up at right guard.
Yeah, and if that's the situation, Mark, like honestly, that says so much about Nate Davis, right? I mean, if you're bringing in two new guys and they take two spots when realistically only one was supposed to be open this year, the center position. And for Nate Davis, he got obviously hasn't been on the field. So it would be a very unfortunate situation if that's how it played out. But again, they're going to put out the best five. I truly believe that. And I would think Nate Davis still would be part of that five at the right guard spot. But you got to practice, man. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, you do have to practice. Like, we've heard Tom Brady talk about practices and how impactful they are. Like, Nate Davis is not like your high quality top 10 guard. Like, that dude does need to practice. He is next to a new center. He is next to a second-year player in Darnell Wright. Like, I need to see you on the practice field. But for the most part, we have not seen that.
Well, here's the question for you, Nick, and for you, chat, Gary. How many different starting lineups have the Bears had with their offensive line in the last 2 years? Does anybody know?
Well,
Any
I
guesses
see
out
it
there?
in our notion, so I won't say anything. But let's see if the chat, if they put the number down.
Okay, it's quite a few.
Double digits.
Yeah, double digits, and
too many, Nathaniel. Yes,
too many is correct, and 23 is a great guess. And Gary says 15.
Close.
The answer is 18. 18 different iterations of the Bears offensive line the last 2 years. So forgive
Jesus Christ.
Forgive Simo for saying, like, yeah, I like this guy and I like that guy, because it's not just Nate Davis. Tevin Jenkins can't stay healthy. I asked him about Tevin.
Yeah.
I said, when he's healthy, is he basically at the top of, could be one of the best offensive linemen out there? He said, yeah, when he's healthy. So it wasn't like he didn't say it in a trying to knock on him way, but it's just a fact of life. So it could be one of these guys could be playing left guard, one of them could be playing right guard. They have not had stability there, and last year they didn't have stability with Braxton. So hopefully he'll be able to stay healthy, and it's the same thing with Darnell. It's we've talked about it 100 times, but that's why when I'm listening to him talk, it's like, oh, he's not sure who's playing center because he's not sure who's playing guard. He doesn't buy that they're going to be healthy. That's how I hear it.
Yeah, Mark, like when I think of, because I'm sure we've all gone to bed late at night thinking about what this Bears team can do in 2024. And the one, like, I think the biggest concern, and I would think it would Bears fans think the same way, is that if this offensive line does what it has done the past couple years, lose guys throughout the majority of the season, like most teams will, this offense will not be what it could be with all the offensive talent around it at the skilled players. Like if you don't have a reliable center, obviously that's going to inhibit what you could do offensively. Tevin goes out. Who's the first guy that goes in at left guard? Nate. We don't know about Nate Davis and his consistency. Are you going to actually have one of these new guys start there? So it really does come down to this offensive line. How consistent can they be and how healthy can they be? And those are both big question marks for this Bears team in 2024.
$20 super chat from our guy Craig Leach, who's consistently supporting us. Craig, we always appreciate it. He says, time is accelerating. Training camp will be here in no time. CHGO will have epic content. I'm assuming you're saying today's show is epic too, Craig. I know that's what you meant. This is going to be special. Let's effing go. Damn straight, brother. This thing is moving. It's going to be here before we know it. And we've got some fun stuff, by the way, for you before we know it, including another big Bears guest coming up next week. I believe it's next week. It's sometime soon. There is some breaking news today. And it involves Kevin Warren. Have you seen this, Nick?
I have not. The
Tribune wrote it at 12:02, 2 minutes into the start of our show. Headline, Bears CEO Kevin Warren added to State Business Development Board.
Oh.
Interesting. And let me just read it here. Bears President CEO Kevin Warren is joining the board of a statewide economic development organization that works closely with Governor J.B. Pritzker's administration to help attract businesses to Illinois. Warren's appointment to the Intersect Illinois board comes as he is deepening his outreach to the state's business community after the Bears' proposal that the public help pay for a new dome stadium and a reimagined lakefront failed to advance during the state legislature's spring session. Warren joins the board along with GCM Grosvenor CEO and Chairman Michael Sachs, huge fan of CHGO, I'm sure, and Spantech President CEO Smita Shah, who also loves CHGO, with all three appointments announced Friday by the Intersect Illinois Board. This speaks of the Kevin Warren philosophy. By the way, Nick is frozen and is smiling thing, and this is amazing. Nick looks very much like he just had a lot of sunny side. That's fantastic. If you're watching on YouTube, just leave Nick right there. That's beautiful. Okay, so this speaks to what Warren talks about, team. How can I help you so you will ultimately help me? What can I give to you that ultimately will perhaps come back and benefit me? I'm giving to you not knowing that it's going to benefit me, but I'm giving to you in hopes that eventually I will get paid back. I don't know. I think it's a good move by Sir Warren. $10 super chat from a realtor named House. It's amazing. Since people dropping some bills, CHGO. Thank you, Adam M. House. Appreciate you dropping $10 worth of bills. Despite the
I will say, Mark.
Yeah, go ahead.
The one person that Warren needs to get on his good side is Pritzker, right? When you're thinking about for any type of forward movement with what he's trying to accomplish here, it's that's the guy. And maybe that's I think someone put in here building bridges in our chat. That's honestly, you got to do these smaller moves to eventually potentially get to ultimately what Warren's trying to accomplish here. So I get it. I get what Warren's trying to do. You have to do probably a lot more of these smaller things to finally, get that stadium going in Chicago.
And quote from Warren, I am not at all looking at this to have any impact on our stadium project that we're working on. My whole focus is accepting this invitation to join the board is the value that I am focused on bringing to the state of Illinois. Continuing on, my whole goal is to try to provide as much value, insight, relationship building that I can to benefit the state of Illinois. And Warren says he hasn't spoken with Pritzker about his appointment to the Intersect board and still looks forward to speak with him about the team stadium proposal, which the governor's office has called a, quote, non-starter.
That first sentence, Mark, you said, I'm not doing this for the stadium, but you're building connections to, later on, hopefully get the stadium, right? Come on.
And
come on, Warren.
Yeah. He also says you cannot make progress only playing defense. And then he says this summer, will be critically important. The fall is critically important, and will continue to meet and work with elected officials, our business leaders, and continue to communicate our goal in regards to how this stadium plan can be very productive public-private partnership. He ain't giving up, man. He is not giving up, and he's doing whatever the hell he can to help out and show that he's a team guy.
Yeah. He's persistent, man. He's a persistent Warren.
Little bit of perhaps, I don't know if you want to call it humble pie, but he's hey man, I'm not trying to be a taker here. Let me be a giver. I like it. I saw our guy Matt Nuku in the supers here. Nuku, I've been missing you. I've been thinking about you. $9.99. Good to see you today. Loving the off-season coverage, you guys. It's nice to finally pop into a live show. Let's keep chugging to the Hall of Fame game. Can't come soon enough. Happy Friday, as always. Bear down. Damn straight, Nuku.
Let's go.
It's coming along here. But first, Carm goes to Wimbledon, July 2nd. Okay.
Ooh.
I'm so excited.
I mean, this is huge for you, Mark. Like, this will be. I think I even told Stephanie about this. Like, you're going to Wimbledon. I mean, this is. I want vlog style. Like, you got to document this. I want to know all about it.
Yeah, and as of right now, for the record, I'm going by myself. I've asked numerous people who wants to fly to London, and I haven't gotten a taker yet. My brother was supposed to come, but he's wimping out. And my guy Vucci Vacucci, he was going to come, wimping out.
Vucci Vacucci?
That guy. He's the Vacucci Hoochie. Just a
I think we should, Steven, stop this man.
He's a complete loser that said no. As if he's got something better to do. It's like his family's in town. He doesn't want to miss dinner with mom and dad.
Come on.
Hoochie. Mom and dad are Carm at Wimbledon. What kind of choice is this? But he's going with mom and dad. Fine. I respect it.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Nick, what are you doing after the show?
Immediately the show, I will probably be publishing the show, but nothing crazy. What about you?
I think I will be in our Discord in the Die Hard Super to talk about anything and anything you would like for a nice little 20-minute stanza here. So for you diehards who want some more content and want to hang out on a Friday and talk deep about life or Bears or Jerry West or Poppy or whatever, I'm here for you. Edward, you're funny. I might take Poppy overseas. I mean, how much is it?
Did you see that? I think Stephanie showed me this yesterday that Chicago's having like their dog. It's like a dog only airline. Like they're
dog only airline.
They're flying the dogs, and they get like first class, and they get puppy treats, and they can watch little videos of Brady's in here squirrels. So it's like I maybe that was a maybe it was fake, but I don't know. I did see something like that.
I'm looking at a website right now, Pet Airways. Pause and purrs on every flight. Set your sights. Temperature controlled. Avoid the dangerous extreme hot and cold temperatures of. Let's see here. On Pet Airways, your pet enjoys a proven, safe, comfortable, and stress-free flight experience. Your pet's Pet Airways.
Found it. No. Bark Air, described as a first-of-its-kind travel experience tailored to dogs, will now fly out of Chicago's Midway Airport, among several other locations recently announced. Bark Air, let's go.
I mean, why don't we? I think I'm pretty certain that's how Braggs flew to Florida. Bark Air.
Bark Air.
You imagine if you. I mean, have you seen the Steven, I'm going to send you something.
Oh boy.
We're going to have to extend the show for a minute here because it's worthy. Have you ever been in a cage with a dog there, Nick?
In a cage? Like no. Probably not.
Yeah. Steven, I'm going to put this in the Bears Slack channel.
Oh boy.
You know. Did I do this before? Have you seen this one?
I don't know. Like I'm scared of what's gonna pop up here.
Nah, you're good. I just sent it. I think that there's no reason now. I've had a lot of dogs in my life. For growing up with Strudel, elite animal. That was the Carman family dog. Then we moved on, and there it is. Now, don't you think that I could fly on Bark Air in the cage with an animal? Look at that. That's me and Butkus. Phenomenal animal. And we would hang out in the cage. I wanted him to feel comfortable in the cage, and I needed to learn how to get comfortable in the cage. And there it is. Me and Butkus caging it. So Bark Air, can I send this to Bark Air and see if I can get that done? What do you think?
I think you should. You should explore those options and see what they can do for you, Mark. Wow. What was your dog's name? Butkus?
That was Butkus.
Butkus, you look like you were having a time just with Butkus.
That was my buddy's dog. I would take care of him every now and then. And he's like, how's it going with Butkus? And I was like, well, and so I sent him that picture, just to show him that we were bonding. And you're exactly right, Nathaniel B. I am looking to save a buck. Money come, money go. It's a good way to end Friday show there, Nick. Bark Air.
What a way.
Let's go.
Bark Air.
Is that going on right now?
Oh, Greg is shirtless.
Is there a video or just a picture of?
No, we just got a picture here. This is Braggs at the Friday 120 Club right now.
He looks ripped. Guy's been lifting weights. Look at that arm. Look at that arm.
Yeah, it's a good looking arm. That's skipping arm day.
That's like, he's getting stuff done. You got to give Gregory some props. Although, is that a ton of gray hair in the front there, or is that just sun? That was a lot of gray hair.
That looks like gray.
Getting gray, dog. Don't worry, just lean into it. It's cool. All right, I'm gonna be in the Discord, talking to you in the Bears land. Nick, you have yourself a great weekend. Steven, you do the same. Bears fans, CHGO Bears fans more specifically, we love you. We miss you. We appreciate you. Every single damn one of you. And we're back on Monday. Yes, Nick.
Happy Father's Day for all the fathers out there as we kind of go into the weekend. Make sure to spend time with your dads and, just have a moment, have a beer, watch the CHGO Bears podcast. Maybe not, but yeah, spend time with your dad.
100%. To Freddie, Carman, and all the dads out there, kid dads, dog dads, stepdads, whatever you are or not. Happy Father's Day to all the leaders out there on the men's side, in whatever role you're doing it. Nick? Yeah.
We all silly like the mayor.